Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that helps you get straight to the essential knowledge you need. So picture this scenario. Maybe you've been there, you've planned out the perfect home theater, right? Got that amazing 4K TV, maybe a high-end projector. Everything's set for that immersive experience. But then, the cables, your media player, your console is just too far from the screen. And that standard HDMI cable, it just won't reach, or worse, the signal starts flickering. You end up compromising on where you put your gear, or you get frustrating signal loss. It's annoying. Today, though, we're doing a deep dive into a really clever bit of tech designed to solve exactly that problem. It's the WolfPack 4K 60 Hz HDMI Extender over CAT6 with HDR. We're going to explore how just one single network cable, the kind you probably already have, can carry flawless video and audio over really long distances, preserving all that amazing detail and color. Our mission today: unpack its core features, understand the tech magic behind it. We're drawing our insights straight from the product details for this WolfPack extender from HDTV Supply. Let's jump in. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Why do we even need an HDMI extender? I mean, you buy these fancy high-speed HDMI cables, they look pretty solid. Why do they just sort of fail after a certain point, especially with demanding stuff like 4K?
That's a great question, and it really hits the core issue. Standard HDMI cables, well, they're fantastic for short distances, maybe connecting a player right under your TV. But push them beyond, say, 15, maybe 20 feet, and you start hitting physical limits, especially with high bandwidth signals like 4K at 60 hertz. You might see flickering, dropouts, sometimes just nothing. No signal. It's not really the cable's fault per se. It's just the physics of pushing so much data. We're talking 18 gigabits per second here down a passive copper wire over distance. Signal integrity just degrades.
Okay. So it's the sheer amount of data for 4K that struggles over longer copper runs.
Exactly. Now contrast that with Q6 cable, standard Ethernet network cable. That stuff is designed for reliable data transmission over much longer distances. It's also way more flexible, thinner, easier to pull through walls.
And cheaper, right, than those super long, thick HDMI cables.
Generally, yes. Significantly more cost-effective and just easier to handle for installations. So this WolfPack extender basically acts like a translator. It converts the HDMI signal into something that loves traveling over K6, and then it converts it perfectly back to HDMI at your display end. It's a clever workaround.
That makes a lot of sense. Trading the fragile HDMI signal for a more robust format over a common cable. Which brings us to this specific WolfPack extender. You highlighted it uses a single K6 cable. That sounds like a key simplification. Why is that single cable such a big deal?
Oh, absolutely. The single K6 is really efficient. Older systems sometimes needed two CEA cables, which meant double the pulling, double the termination. This WolfPack unit extends your full 4K video, your high-def audio, and even one-way IR control up to 150 feet. Some specs say even 164 feet. That's 50 meters. All over that one network cable.
One cable for everything. Simple.
Much simpler. And the system itself is just two small boxes. You've got the transmitter near your source, your Blu-ray player, game console, whatever, and the receiver unit goes near your TV or projector. HDMI goes into the transmitter, it sends the signal down the CT6, the receiver picks it up, converts it back, and outputs perfect HDMI to your screen. Quality preserved.
Okay, let's get into the really juicy stuff for anyone who loves great picture quality. This extender boasts 4K 60 Hz, 4.4.4 color, and HDR. Break those down for us. What do those specs feel like on screen?
Right. This is where the tech translates into, what you actually see and experience. So 4K 60 Hz. 4K is Ultra HD resolution, tons of pixels. The 60 Hz part means 60 frames per second. Think about watching sports or playing a fast-paced video game. That 60 Hz gives you incredibly smooth, sharp motion. No annoying blur or judder when things move quickly.
So it keeps fast action looking crisp, not smeared.
Exactly. It's the difference between just watching and feeling like you're there. You see every detail in the movement.
Okay. Then what about 4.4.4 color space? That sounds pretty technical.
It does, but the result is very visible. Basically, some video formats save bandwidth by reducing the amount of color information they send for some pixels. That's like 4.2.0, 4.4.2. But 4.4.4 means full color information for every single pixel. No compromises.
So richer, more accurate colors, like reds are truly red, greens are truly green.
Precisely. You get the most vibrant, true-to-life colors possible. Crucial for things like graphic design work on a big screen, watching nature documentaries, or just appreciating a film's cinematography. No weird color banding in sunsets, stuff like that.
Got it. Maximum color fidelity. And the last one, HDR. High dynamic range, we hear about this a lot.
We do, and for good reason. HDR is a game changer for realism. It's not just about brightness. It's about the range between the darkest darks and the brightest brights. Think about a scene with bright sunlight and deep shadows. With HDR, you can see details in both those areas simultaneously. Highlights really pop without washing out, and shadows have depth and texture. They aren't just crushed black areas. It makes the image look much more lifelike, much more dynamic.
So more detail in the brights and the darks, leading to a more impactful image.
Exactly. More depth, more contrast. It just pulls you into the picture more. It supports various bit depths to 8, 10, 12-bit color, adding to that richness.
That's a great explanation. Makes those specs feel much more tangible. And delivering all that 4K, 60 Hz, 4.4.4 HDR must need a serious amount of data flowing.
It absolutely does, and that's why the 18 Gbps bandwidth support mentioned in the specs is so vital. It's essentially the digital highway needed to carry all that uncompressed visual and color information without bottlenecks or loss.
Makes sense. It's the pipeline.
Right. And related to that, the extender is HDMI 2.0 compliant. That's the standard that enables these high resolutions and bandwidths. It's also HDCP 2.2 1.4 compliant. HDCP is that copy protection thing, high bandwidth digital content protection.
The thing that sometimes stops your movie playing.
That's the one. You absolutely need HDCP compliance, especially the newer 2.2 version for 4K content, to watch protected stuff from streaming services like Netflix or from Blu-rays, cable boxes. Otherwise, you just get a black screen or an error. This extender handles that.
Okay, crucial for compatibility. So the picture side is clearly top-notch, but you mentioned audio and control earlier. A great picture isn't everything if the sound is tinny or you can't easily control your hidden gear.
You are absolutely right. The experience needs to be seamless. And this WolfPack extender doesn't skimp on the audio side. It supports a whole raft of high-fidelity audio formats. We're talking LPCM, Dolby Digital, Dolby True HD, DTS, DTS HD, Master Audio, all the key ones.
So basically, whatever surround sound or high-res audio your system uses, it should pass through cleanly.
Exactly. You're not downgrading your sound just because you're extending the signal. You get the full, uncompressed audio experience alongside that amazing picture.
That's good to hear. Now, that one-way IR control you mentioned, how does that actually work and why is it so useful?
It's incredibly useful. The IR stands for infrared, like your standard remote control signal. Imagine your Blu-ray player or cable box is tucked away in a cabinet, maybe even in a different room. Normally, your remote needs line of sight. With this system, you point your remote at a small IR receiver sensor near your TV. And that signal travels back through the same CAT6 cable to an IR emitter placed in front of your source device.
So it relays the remote signal back to the source.
Precisely. It lets you control your hidden gear easily from your viewing spot, without any fuss or needing special universal remotes or apps. It just works like normal.
That solves a very common frustration. What about the HDMI loop out on the transmitter? That sounds interesting, like getting two outputs from one source.
Yeah, it's a really smart feature. The transmitter unit doesn't just send the signal down the CT6. It also has a standard HDMI output port right there.
Okay, so what's the use case for that?
Well, several things. Firstly, troubleshooting. You can plug a small local monitor in right next to your source to check if everything's working correctly without running to the main display.
Yeah.
Super handy during setup. But the bigger benefit is simultaneous viewing. You can feed a main TV or projector via the receiver unit far away. And you can also connect a second local display right there at the source location using the loop out.
Like maybe a TV in the living room and a projector in the next room, both showing the same thing.
Exactly that kind of scenario. Or maybe a monitor and an equipment rack in the main display elsewhere. It adds a lot of flexibility. Generally, the system manages the signal well, but for the best experience with loop out, having displays with similar resolution capabilities is ideal.
That leap out is clever. Okay, so we've got great video, great audio, easy control. Let's talk installation practicalities. You mentioned simpler cabling, but are there other features that make life easier when setting this up? I'm thinking about power outlets.
Yes, power outlets, often the bane of clean installs. This extender has a field called POC, which stands for Power Over Cable.
Power over cable? Does that mean?
It means exactly what it sounds like. You only need to plug in the power adapter for the transmitter unit, the one near your source. The power needed for the receiver unit, the one by your display, is actually sent over that same single CT6 network cable.
Seriously? No power adapter needed behind the TV or up by the projector.
None needed at the receiver end. That's huge, right? Especially for tricky installs like ceiling-mounted projectors or sleek wall-mounted TVs where hiding power cables is a nightmare, it dramatically simplifies wiring.
That is a huge deal. Eliminates one whole cable run and the need for a nearby outlet. Very smart. And presumably the units themselves aren't massive boxes.
Not at all. They have a really compact design. Both the transmitter and receiver are quite small, roughly 10 centimeters by 7 centimeters, and only about 1.3 centimeters thick. And they're lightweight. This means you can easily tuck them away behind a TV, inside a wall cavity, mount them discreetly. They won't add bulk to your setup.
Nice. Small, simple, less wiring. What about reliability? Are these things built to last?
They seem to be designed with that in mind. They include built-in ESD protection. That's electrostatic discharge. It basically protects the sensitive internal electronics from static shocks, which can happen during handling or just from the environment. It adds a layer of robustness for long-term reliability.
Okay, so protection against invisible zaps that could damage gear. Good peace of mind.
Definitely. It's one of those background features that contributes to longevity.
So putting it all together, fantastic 4K HDR picture, full audio, easy IR control, simpler single cable wiring with POC, HDMI loop out flexibility, compact size, ESD protection, and all using that cost-effective CT6 cabling.
Exactly. That use of standard, affordable CT6 really is a core benefit that makes high-performance, long-distance HDMI practical for more people and situations.
Okay, let's bring it home. We've unpacked the tech. Who is this really for? What kinds of problems does this WolfPack extender fundamentally solve for you, the listener?
Well, it really comes down to freedom and quality. Freedom to place your display wherever you want it, without being tethered by short HDMI cable limits. For home theater enthusiasts, it's often a game changer. Want that projector perfectly positioned at the back of the room, but your AV receiver and sources are in a rack across the way, or even in a closet. This makes it happen, delivering that pristine 4K HDR signal flawlessly.
Right, no compromising on placement or quality.
Precisely. For conference rooms and classrooms, think about clean professional setups. You can have a central computer or media player feeding a large screen or projector across the room without messy cables tripping people up. It makes presentations look sharper and setup much easier. Plus, that IR control means you can manage the source from the podium.
Good point. Simplifies the whole AV infrastructure there.
And for digital signage like displays in shops, lobbies, airports where you need reliable, high-quality video running often for hours on end, potentially far from the media player, this provides a robust solution. Honestly, any situation where you need to send a top-quality HDMI signal 4K, 60 Hz HDR, 4.4.4 further than a standard cable allows, this is a strong contender. And as mentioned, it's from WolfPack by HDTV Supply. They've been in the AV game for 24 years and have a solid reputation. Google Shopping rates them as an exceptional top-quality store. So there's experience behind the product.
Okay, that really paints the picture. So recapping our deep dive today, we've explored how the WolfPack 4K 60 Hz HDMI Extender tackles the distance limitations of standard HDMI. We've understood what 4K 60 Hz with HDR and 4.4.4 color actually brings to your screen, that smooth motion, vibrant color, incredible contrast. We've seen the convenience of features like IR control for hidden devices, the flexibility of the HDMI loop out, and the sheer installation simplicity offered by power over cable, all delivered over one standard CT6 network cable. It really is a powerful tool for anyone looking to build an uncompromised AV setup without cable-linked headaches, a genuine shortcut to getting informed on this tech. So here's a thought to leave you with. As our tech evolves and our desire for these incredibly immersive high-res experiences just keeps growing, what other everyday connectivity bottlenecks do you think clever solutions like this might eliminate next? Maybe more importantly, how does simplifying this kind of complex wiring empower more of us, maybe even you, to create truly amazing audiovisual experiences anywhere we want them? Something to ponder. This has been The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll